Have you ever traveled internationally and brought the entertainment with you? This week, we're taking you on a group trip to Riviera Maya.
You're listening to Travel FOMO, a podcast for people self-diagnosed with wanderlust.
Hilarie here. Welcome to the Travel FOMO podcast. And I'm joined by my co-host and esposo, Jamin.
Hey there.
And we're in the middle of season 4, and we're focusing on some of the beach vacations that we've been on. Season 4 is all about the beaches.
All sunny.
Love it. And in this episode, it is all about Riviera Maya, Mexico.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, it was so fun. We traveled with my family.
Yeah.
Which was a lot of fun. Couples. We were all adulting.
Yep.
So fun. So there was 8 of us.
Correct.
Myself and you self.
Yes, that's 2.
That's 2. And then my big brother Wes and his wife, my brother Lamar and his wife Ashley, my cousin Felicia and her husband Justin. And we had a heck of a good time.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was a great time.
I really felt like we brought the party with us. It was a really affordable beach vacation. We stayed at an all-inclusive resort called Ocean Maya Royale.
Yes. Yeah.
Liked it. Cared. I mean, we would do it again.
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, for me, I like to think of it as a really affordable way to travel internationally, which I think international travel is so fun.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to be able to do that. The food was okay. It wasn't like anything outrageously amazing, but it was good.
Yes. I think originally when I saw and thought of all-inclusive resorts, I was like, oh, the food will be amazing. But when you really think about it, it's a lot of buffets and stuff like that. And it's already paid for. So you're not getting gourmet food.
Right.
But when you kind of adjust your thinking to understand that, then you recognize that that's not so bad. And when it doesn't make you sick, it's incredible.
It's incredible. You guys, if you have not heard of our Punta Cana episode, you need to go back and listen to that, because that's how the food could make you really sick there.
Yes.
So we had an amazing experience here.
Right. It makes you really grateful for when the food doesn't make you sick.
Exactly. I think I had a ton of nachos at the buffets. I just kept making my own nachos, which I love.
I don't really remember what my go-to was, but I remember the food being fine. I think I did nachos several times. I think we got sushi.
Yeah.
And I know we went to the nice restaurant.
That was
a couple
nice.
of evenings.
I wish we'd done that more.
Yeah, we should have done that more.
Just made reservations and done the nice meals. It's just, you've got to have a plan. You got to and we're, my family, we can be pretty we like to see where the day takes us, And so making reservations is probably something we'll only do once.
I do think that is that's the one hard part about a group at an all-inclusive. Everything else is great about all-inclusives for groups, because you're there, everybody's kind of got their own room, everybody can kind of do their own thing. But when it's time for dinner, getting everybody on the same page, you have to either be willing to be okay, we're all doing our own thing for dinner, see you after dinner, or to say okay, dinner is getting planned out every night in advance to make it happen. Otherwise, you end up in this weird limbo of what are we thinking for dinner? I don't know. What do you think for? And you go back and forth forever, and nothing ends up happening.
Yeah.
And you end up with a buffet with more nachos.
That's true. A fun thing to do too could be the first night, it's Felicia's choice. Second night, it's going to be Wes. And let everyone have their pick, and we just take turns. And then somebody's always responsible for making the decision. If people don't like it, they can always go somewhere else.
Knocked out. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good
We'll
call.
try that next time.
Well, but the one thing that was consistent was that after dinner, you would go hang out at the bar.
Always.
And they had an awesome bartender there. His name was Ollie.
He was so great.
Yeah, he was really cool. And I had gotten a tip from some people that I knew that they're like, hey, at the all-inclusive resorts, tipping isn't a thing. Like, tipping is included in your price, and they'll tell you that up front, so you don't have to tip. But if you do tip the bartender, then you get really great service. And so I remember on the first night, I was like, hey, my name's Jamin. Hey, Ollie. And I think he said his name was Ollie, and he asked me my name, and I said my name was El Guapo. And he remembered it, and he called me Guapo, which means handsome.
Oh, of course it does.
Every time that I walked in the bar for the rest of the week, because I asked him, I was like, "Are you going to be here all week?" And he's like, "Yep, I'm here all week. This is my gig. I'm here all week long." And so I tipped him. I
him a big bill.
I laid some money on him. Yeah, I tipped him a big bill, and then I was like, "Hey, you'll get a bill every night, and then another big bill at the end of the week if we get taken care of."
You did? And you said that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And he's like, I got you. And he did.
He did.
I mean, there would be a line, like a huge, long line of people waiting for drinks at the bar. And if one of our drinks was like half empty, we got another drink.
He saw us come, and
right
he
there.
was like leaning over to get your
and
order.
Every time I walked in, hey, Wapo, and like every time. And which was a lot of fun because we had our little group, and we would kind of take over a little section of the bar each night and hang out. And he made it a lot of fun. He was really entertaining and really just kind of lined everybody up and made really great drinks. Like all of the beachy, fruity, sort of like more sweet than you would normally have drinks that you expect at a beachfront place. Yeah. And he was awesome at it, really good at it.
He was really good. And you know what? I think that we even looked up on TripAdvisor and stuff. Like, we do a lot of we look at a lot of reviews before we go somewhere. Yeah. Even if the location has already been decided, we kind of like to manage our expectations.
Yeah, check it out.
And so we were like looking on TripAdvisor, and I remember hearing about Ollie before we ever got there. And so when we found out that he was actually there, it was like, okay, this is the guy everybody says is so great. And he was.
He was, like, super nice, really entertaining, great at his job. If all resorts could have an Ollie, I think that they should absolutely do it because he's worth his weight in gold.
Yeah. What was so funny about that bar, though, is that they had the lights on full blast, like, all night long.
Yes.
And most bars in America, in most bars in America, I feel like, they dim the lights and it's, kind of a little darker. And this is like, nope. It's like your eyes are like, it's like it's the middle of the day in there.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
I will say one thing that I learned the hard way on this trip was when we bought our package, like there was an option to upgrade to the premium drink package. And, all inclusive, everything is included. So as much as you want, like all the food and the drinks and all that stuff, but you could upgrade to premium spirits. And when I read that, I thought that meant like top shelf. And I was like, well, I don't need top shelf. Like, I'm not bougie like that. I can be fine with just regular drinks. But when they call premium spirits is what in the U.S. would be considered like well drinks. Mm-hmm. So the brands that you get when you don't do the premium package are stuff you've never heard of. And then the premium package is stuff that you're familiar with. So
like giving
like Crown or Jack Daniels or Jim Beam or Sky Vodka or like any of those.
That's considered top shelf for them.
That's premium. Yeah. So when you buy up and get the premium package, that's what you're getting.
Yeah.
And which I would do in retrospect just because it's a little bit better. It tastes a little bit better, is easier on your stomach and all of that. And so I would do the upgrade next time. Just word to the wise.
Yeah, for sure. And also because, not to scare anybody, because I'm always going to be like pro travel. But there are a lot of like horror stories of people like really blacking out on the alcohol in
Like
some of the
getting bad,
Mexican,
yeah.
specifically Mexican resorts.
Right.
And because of the bad alcohol. And so anytime you could drink familiar alcohol that is, is safe would be really good. So yeah, just something to know and look at whenever you look at reviews is like, are people talking about getting bad alcohol? Are they blacking out? We actually had some crazy things happen that you would want to be aware of too. Is my brother Wes, he had like some stuff stolen from his room.
Right, yeah.
And that really hurt the trip for them. Like that was a bummer. It was like a laptop with a ton of family photos, and
Yeah, that was really sad.
I think a nice
Like
camera.
an iPad, I think.
Yeah, maybe an iPad. Yeah. That was pretty rough. And then also, just generally speaking, our Brit friends, we made a lot of friends while we were there. So some of our friends from Britain, they were warning us too that like things could get kind of rough there. The beach was like good, but it wasn't great. So in our last episode, we talked about like Destin beaches. Far exceeds a beach like this, but it's still good.
Yeah, I think that was more of the particular resort that we were at, and not necessarily like the area Riviera Maya, because a lot of the resort that we were at, the like chairs and sand and stuff was like up in front of like a boardwalk, so you couldn't like walk out into the ocean.
Yeah, there wasn't much beach.
Yeah, and then they had like some pieces of beach on either side. I wish we had kind of explored that a little more. And it's really tough to tell in photos, especially the resort photos, because you do see like, oh, here's the beach like running into the water. And then you see...
They're going to show you the best.
Right. And you see all these chairs on the sand and little, umbrellas and stuff like that. And you don't realize that you're looking at two different sections when you see those pictures. And so just kind of be aware of that. Like, go to a place where you can see some actual travelers' photos.
Yeah.
And maybe get a little bit more of the scoop.
And maybe even Google Earth it.
Yeah.
Because you can see a lot on Google Earth.
Yeah, that's another great tool to look at and check out, just to not to even determine whether you go or don't go, but like you said earlier, just to manage your expectations and go like, okay, this is what I'm getting into.
Yes, exactly. When you're planning a trip, what are the tools that you use? Have you ever thought about a way to do it better, to plan more efficiently, to save money and optimize your time? We all have some kind of limits to our resources, our time, money, energy. Let's find a way to make the most of them. Let's find a way to help each other take the best possible memories with us when we head home from a journey. If your product does that, let's get together and share it here. The other thing, I wasn't going to mention this, but I was just thinking about how, like, none of us ever got any international phone plans that I know of, because we all just kind of got to the resort, hopped on the Wi-Fi, and started texting. And so then you just have access to each other pretty much all the time because you're connected to Wi-Fi and you can text each other. So that's just something that I think people might kind of freak out about when they're leaving the country. But as long as you've got Wi-Fi, you're good. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I would agree. And especially for us, that trip, like, we got off the plane, got on the shuttle to the resort, and then we didn't leave the resort until we went back to fly back out, which was really good. We talked to some people that did leave the resort, and they were like, it's a little dodgy, a little sketchy, maybe not a great idea. And so just keeping that in mind, like, you're right, you don't really need it. But it was a lot of fun to travel with a group.
Yeah.
Because if you're with a group and you guys are having fun, it's also a really easy way to meet people, because you become a group of people is really more approachable, especially if everyone in the group is friendly. You can meet other people and be like, hey, what's going on? Why don't you hang out with us? And we met other people there.
It was a lot of fun. Okay, so Ricky and Lauren Naylor, were they on their honeymoon?
Yes.
They were on their honeymoon.
Yeah. Which I felt bad about later because I feel like we jeopardized a lot of their time until I think it was at the end that I kind of did the math. I'm like, oh, they're on their honeymoon and we're just messing with them.
Exactly. Yeah. And then Haley Gruber, a guy named Dave. I cannot remember Dave's last name, but we'll have to tag him on Facebook. We're friends. But we still are connected with these people on social media too, which I love that we all kind of stayed connected. We had some fun nights out on the beach.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because we would hang out at the bar for a little bit and then go out to the beach. The resort was super accommodating. Mm-hmm. We'd be like, hey, we want to go hang out at the beach. Can we have a bottle of wine or something? And they would
bring it out to us.
Yeah, bring it out to us. Took great care of us. The service at the resort was really, really good.
It was really good. I wonder if that was because you had tipped so well.
Maybe so. But whatever the reason.
Yeah. Somebody came out with this huge tray of drinks for us and we're like, oh my gosh, it's so fun. And then I think we had champagne and different stuff. We just sat out there on the beach. There's a lot of beach beds, the big kind of beds on stilts and stuff that you could sit around on. And we've got some fun group photos from that.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And there were other things to do besides drinking.
Yes.
So we walked down to, what was it called? It's
the mangroves.
The mangroves, yeah.
Yeah, so they weren't far, I don't know, half a mile down the beach?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they some mangroves, and it was really cool because the water kind of ran through it in a way where there was this little channel that would kind of come in and out, and the current was really strong.
Yeah.
And I remember trying to swim up the current, and I swam hard for 10 to 15 minutes and
oh my gosh,
didn't make it very far at all.
That's crazy.
It was just a really cool area, a lot of fish and flowers and things like that. It was a lot of fun.
That was really cool. And then there's just fun things to do. You can we played a lot of pool, which we had a lot of fun, playing pool. We did karaoke night one night, so that was fun.
It's great singing.
Some kayaking, which was fun. We enjoy kayaking.
We did that a couple times.
Yeah. We like to do that. And then massages again, because now we're all into massages when we go on vacation.
Yeah, you pulled me into the massage thing.
It's just not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, it was really fun. And I think the massage was the only thing that I think that we paid extra for the whole time that we were there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Everything else was just included stuff that the resort offered and made it a lot of fun and great. I think, didn't Felicia and Justin go parasailing? I think they paid extra to do that.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They are extreme sportists.
Yeah.
So they love to do all the extreme stuff, and it's so fun because then they always challenge you to do something that you're like, what? That's crazy. The most extreme thing you could do, they will do it. It's so fun. I love it. And Felicia's always like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. But then 100% it's happening. She's never going to back down. She always does it. I think that's really cool. And yeah, they just have a really adventurous spirits.
Yeah. And a resort's a great way to connect with family like that. Mm-hmm. Because you are you have that extended time.
Yeah.
Where it's okay, we don't have to go anywhere. We don't have to be anywhere. There's no there's no next thing to get to.
Yeah.
And so you really do kind of get to calm down. You get to catch up. And then after you're all caught up, then you get to have more real conversation.
Yeah, that's true. It's a lot of fun.
What about you? Have you ever been to an all-inclusive resort? What one was your favorite and why? Or which one have you scoped out and want to go to?
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
We want to hear all about it. So we're always looking for the next great place for us to go. So reach out to us. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. We'll be there waiting to hear from you.
Yes, and that's also where we'll throw some throwback photos from this trip.
Yep.
Some fun ones. And then, of course, you can learn more about the two of us at travelfomopodcast.com.
And as we wrap up this episode, since you've made it this far, hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you would, go out there, rate, review, and subscribe, turn on your notifications, and help us get the word out about our little podcast. We want to share it. And you can do that from wherever you listen.
And don't forget that life is short.
Wander well.